January is Earthquake Awareness Month with increased attention this week, reminding us of the drop, cover, hold techniques and more. This is important because Jamaica had 14 felt quakes in 2018, ranging from 2.5 to 5.2 magnitudes. And the Eastern Caribbean reported 40 earthquakes of magnitude 5 and above, with 3 tsunami alerts in the region. Hello, I'm Adrian Atkinson, and this is Jamaica Magazine. On today's show, we recap achievements of the Ministry of Local Government in 2018 and share a few security and health measures. Let's get started.
Mosquitoes will breed in containers that hold water. Tightly cover water storage containers such as drums, buckets and tanks, or cover the water surface with cooking oil. Punch holes in all tins, plastic containers and boxes to prevent the collection of water before disposal. Cover old ties or fill with dirt. Scrub all vases once per week to remove mosquito eggs and dispose of garbage by placing in plastic bags. Do your part to prevent mosquito breeding. A message from the Ministry of Health.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, January 24. The Jamaica Defense Force now has permanent accommodations in Western Jamaica. The barracks, located at the Sangster International Airport, is the new home of the force's No. 2 Battalion. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says the soldiers based there will assist police in St. James, Hanover, and Westmoreland.
We intend to maintain a high level of security presence. So even though they may not have the same powers or the extensive powers, we're going to maintain security presence in Montego Bay. The government is committed to ensuring the safety of our citizens.
Dr. Chang was addressing a recent community forum in Norwood, St. James. Residents of Norwood, St. James have been assured that work will start soon to improve their water supply. National Security Minister and Member of Parliament for the area, Dr. Horace Chang, says about 7,000 households in the area are without proper water connection. But he says the National Water Commission is scheduled to start the pipelaying process soon for the rehabilitation of their water supply.
When we finish, we have a system that will be in proper place for the entire community of Norwood, and they can go down the hill and do a similar work in Providence to take water that you can connect from your gate into your homes and have a shower even when it's the drought season.
Minister Chang made the disclosure during the recent community forum in Norwood. He said the pipes would be laid according to the blocks and the entire project would be completed within a year. The Office of Utilities Regulations, OUR, says it has secured almost $1 million in compensation payment for utility customers. The figures were contained in the entity's quarterly performance report for the July to September period of 2018. The Jamaica Public Service Company accounted for 85% of the payout, while the National Water Commission recorded 8%. 6% of compensation payments to customers came from Columbus Communications, while CNWJ and Digicel registered the remaining 1%. Utility customers also benefited from over $37 million in payouts for breaches in the July to September quarter of 2018. Of that number, $34.95 million was attracted from breaches of the OUR's guaranteed standards, and the rest related to claim forms which were not submitted for validation. Several Hanover communities are now benefiting from a $30 million hot mix patching program targeting 10,000 square meters of roadway across the parish. The National Works Agency is doing the work, which began earlier this month and is expected to be completed in February. Roads impacted include Green Island to Glasgow, Rock Spring to Parish Border, Great River to Kew Bridge, and Flint River to Cascade Corridors. The roadworks complement repairs carried out in December when 4,000 square meters of corridor were patched under an island-wide spray patching program. Licensed primary in St. Thomas and Manchester-based New Forest Infant Primary and High School have received $8 million each to purchase a school bus. Grant contracts worth $16 million were signed Tuesday for the purchase of the buses. The money is coming from the Japanese government's grassroots human security project, and the expenditure will be managed by the National Education Trust.
Today's agreement requires the commitment of all stakeholders at the school, community, and national levels to see that investment in these schools lead to better educational outcomes for our children.
This signing ceremony indicates a genuine commitment by the people and the government of Japan to assist Jamaica to further enhance the education for its young citizens who are fulfill their dream of a better tomorrow with hope.
Education Minister Senator Ruel Reid is encouraging more young Jamaicans to adopt wholesome values and attitudes that will transform their lives while reinforcing positive and law-abiding behaviors. He made the appeal during the recent launch of the Best Dressed Chicken's 60 School Tour, which runs until February 4. It's part of Jamaica Broiler's 60th anniversary celebration, which is engaging youth through a religious school tour. During the tour, young people will be engaged in 60 to 90 minutes of wholesome entertainment involving the arts, worship, and the word.
Before you know it, you reach the age where you're leaders of this country. And our investment is in you. So we come together this time, where we're going to 25 schools across this entire nation to invest in the youth of this nation.
And finally, Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says a committee has been established to start the search for a new governor of the Bank of Jamaica, BOJ. The new governor will succeed Brian Winter on the completion of his term of appointment in November 2019. In 2017, Mr. Winter was asked to extend his appointment for 2 years in order to advance specific reforms and to play a central role in the formulation and consideration of the reform of the Bank of Jamaica Act. Minister Clarke says the outgoing governor has achieved those commitments and it is therefore time to shift to the next phase in the leadership and governance of the BOJ. David Marston, who worked at the Bank of Jamaica prior to a long and distinguished career at the IMF, has agreed to lead the search committee. The other members are Tony Luars, Helene Davis-White, and Gary Butch Hendrickson. They will assist the minister in identifying a short list of suitable candidates, after which Dr. Clarke will make a submission to Cabinet. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
It's now time to recap the achievements of the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development in 2018.
It is going to be zero tolerance on vending on the streets of this country. By year-end 2019, we are looking at close to 50 brand new trucks for the National Solid Waste Management Authority.
The Ministry of Local Government and Community Development built a robust, service-oriented sector during 2018. For the first time since 2004, the financial records of the National Solid Waste Management Authority NSWMA were up to date. The NSWMA board approved the agency's 2017-2018 audited financial statement.
It has enabled us to better manage the organization because at least now we have financial statements that we can rely on and use as a base for moving forward.
The NSWMA also improved security measures at the Riverton City Disposal site and other landfills across the country. Closed-circuit television cameras were installed and private security personnel were assigned to the landfills. This followed a fire outbreak at 3 disposal sites. During the year, over $74 million was spent to purchase 3 new garbage trucks for the NSWMA. As for the island's markets, hundreds of vendors now operate from improved spaces. The ministry spent $150 million to upgrade a few of the facilities. They include the Clarkstown and Falmouth markets in Trelawney, Black River Market in St. Elizabeth, and Port Maria Market in St. Mary. The Jamaica Fire Brigade received 2 new fire trucks during the year. In addition, the men and women of the brigade based in Montego Bay and Kingston are now mobilized to respond to blazes on ships, docks, and shoreside warehouses. In April, Minister Mackenzie presented the Jamaica Fire Brigade with 6 new emergency response vehicles valued at $385 million.
And government is spending some $22 million to erect in Montego Bay at a cost of $14 million, and here in Kingston, $8 million to erect facility to house the men and women who will be working on these boats.
Clarkstown residents are now enjoying the ease of travel that comes with an upgraded transportation centre. Repaired and renovated at a cost of $6.58 million, the centre was opened in April.
Clarkstown Transportation Centre will serve as a hub that will connect people to Falmouth, Brownstown, Albertown, Duncans, among other major towns.
Homeless persons in St. Anne and St. Mary are now benefiting from a drop-in centre. In 2018, the ministry also started work on other drop-in centres being built in Hanover, St. Elizabeth, St. Thomas and Trelawney.
The expansion of national facilities that will provide care and comfort to our homeless citizens is an important aspect of the work of this administration.
The residents of Marley Hill in South Manchester received access to a precious commodity as a water shop was opened in the community. During the year, the municipal corporation representatives sought to improve on their management skills. For the first time in independent Jamaica, there was a national local governance conference. To top off the year, Jamaica's new Building Act was passed after more than a decade of discussions. The supply of needed resources for the Fire Brigade, Solid Waste Management Authority and other critical services, all that coupled with community improvements, local governance in 2018 took on a renewed meaning in community development.
Reggae music has been added to the UNESCO's list of international cultural treasures worthy of protection and promotion. Jamaica became the first Caribbean country to ever qualify for a senior FIFA Women's World Cup. And
we want to boost the participation of fathers in the household.
Just a taste of what awaits you in the full review of the Ministry of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport for the year 2018. Catch it on Friday, January 25, 2019, inside your favorite television program, Jamaica Magazine.
When we talk about securing businesses, it's not just installing alarms, CCTVs, or grills. Those are necessary, but it goes beyond that and should include software security measures. This is to protect company and clients' data. The experts will tell you more.
Protecting your business goes far beyond securing the physical structure. It involves more than just securing goods and other assets inside the building. In this day and information age, locking your doors and hiring security personnel alone won't cut it. If you're like most businesses today, using electronic databases, doing e-commerce, an invasion by unauthorized persons could put a temporary or permanent halt to your business.
We all know what happens if when a breach happens, and sometimes you can never recover. It destroys life, information is compromised, or information is destroyed.
Today, we're talking about software protection and providing you with the information you need to better protect sensitive data. Your website has been hacked, your information stolen. You immediately think it's a weakness in your network. But according to research from the U.S. National Institute of Standards, 92% of all security breaches occur because of application or software vulnerabilities and not network vulnerability. In simple terms, here's what that means. This is your data. This is the application or software used to protect it. This is your network that is used to coordinate and carry out activities, and this is your business. Now, experts say your data becomes exposed when unauthorized persons or hackers get past your network and reach your software system.
Take, for example, a bank. And if this bank, who we entrust with our confidential information, coming through the front door of the bank, certainly need to protect that. Getting past the teller, certainly need to protect that. But imagine now you get the information about you and I. This is the area we are concentrating on.
And rightly so, because this level of breach and exposure of not only customers' private information, but information on the operation of your business can potentially cost you revenue, lead to a bad reputation, and loss of confidence. Having a well-secured software system then is a must. The best way to get the process started and achieve tangible results is to construct a security gate. This is an added reinforcement around your software, making it harder for intruders to get in.
There are some key building blocks that you need to have in your program suite to ensure that person does not get access to your programs and be able to easily manipulate them. And those are really stringent programming steps.
This gate will give you a true test of the strength of your security measures. It will also highlight security threats before they happen. Program developers play a critical role in the setup of software systems, and experts tell us that their job is not to focus solely on the usability, so proper training is important.
A big part of our educational process here is to kind of shatter those assumptions and get an orientation towards thinking about how an attacker thinks. They have a completely different view of these applications. Their view is completely different. They're looking not for functionality, but for vulnerabilities.
At a secure software development lifecycle training seminar, young professionals were brought up to speed with global and national threats and how to incorporate advanced technology in their applications. Seminar participants were also given a refresher on the dangers of complacency, the risks for businesses and individuals who relax and think their network is safe.
Let me give you a really good example. The most common password used today is password. The second most common password is 123456. And so as a developer, if you assume that somebody's password is secure, and yet you've got a significant portion of your users using the same password, i.e. password, then that provides an open door for an attacker to use those accounts to attack your system.
The internet has revolutionized how we operate in the world, right? And what it has done is that bad and good. It has created all this window of opportunities and a window to your business. But what it allows easily now is someone to come to your website and to gain access from that website to your core business software that run in the business.
And so, organizations, especially state entities, are encouraged to build an awareness among staff and their key stakeholders to build and coordinate security measures with their ICT partners.
We need for persons, I said it before, that at the CEO level to understand that there are real dangers in how persons can get access to your data, especially in the public sector. I mean, if you think of it, the Registrar General Department, the Passport Office, all of these agencies are critical. If persons breach them, the ports, then we can have serious problems nationally. And we need to have a heightened awareness of all the possibilities of danger that is out there.
With this in mind, government has taken steps to amend the Cybercrimes Act to include harsher punishment and make provisions for offences that are similar to cybercrimes. With government playing its part, it's now up to you to ensure that you constantly evaluate your software security and create a plan for long-term protection. Don't be caught napping. Get software security conscious. Protect your business.
Let's turn our attention now to a very important health matter. If you're having ongoing coughs that produce excess mucus, shortness of breath, especially when doing physical activity, wheezing and tightness of the chest, you should check with your doctor, because these are signs of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Getting rid of and avoiding air-polluting actions like these are important ways in ensuring that we live healthier and longer lives. We'd be preventing life-altering conditions such as chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD.
Chronic obstructive pulmonary disease worldwide is recognized as a cause of significant what we call disability adjusted life years. It means that it cuts you down, it causes early mortality, you die younger than you ought to. But what is more frustrating is that if you continue to live, it's the quality of life that you now enjoy is so tremendously affected by shortness of breath as a result of this chronic cigarette smoking.
If you're a tobacco smoker, were once a smoker, have been exposed to secondhand smoke and other air pollutants like chemical fumes and dust for a long time, you could be suffering from COPD. COPD is a condition where the airways are damaged, causing less air flowing in and out of the body when we breathe. A pulmonologist is a doctor who specializes in treating the resulting lung disorders. According to consultant pulmonologist at the University Hospital of the West Indies, the UHWI, Dr. Althea Akar Stewart, it is one of the leading tobacco-induced diseases, with common signs and symptoms including ongoing coughs that produce excess mucus, shortness of breath, especially when doing physical activity, wheezing, and tightness of the chest.
Unfortunately, it looks a lot like asthma. So you hear the patients coughing, they bring up a lot of cold in the mornings or sputum, and you say, oh, they wheeze and they are short of breath, and you think it's asthma, but it's not really asthma. What it is the beginning of the effects of cigarette smoke on the lung, and they have a condition which is called chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Your doctor can find out if you have COPD by checking to see how well your lungs are working through spirometry testing.
Now, spirometry is really very simple. What it's doing is asking you to breathe into a machine and looking at how quickly you can breathe the air out of your lungs.
COPD may cause no symptoms or mild symptoms at first, but as it progresses, it worsens and the symptoms usually become severe. The severity of your symptoms will depend on how much your lung has been damaged, and if you keep smoking, the damage will occur faster than if you stopped smoking. A severe case of COPD can cause symptoms such as swelling in the ankles, feet, or legs, and there is an increased risk of heart disease, cancer, and pneumonia.
The response that takes place in the lungs causes damage to the heart, to the bones, to the GI tract. It's a systemic disease.
Emergency care should be sought if one has difficulty breathing or talking, lips and fingers turn blue or gray, mental alertness is gone, and there is heart palpitations. What's the prevalence of COPD in Jamaica? Research was designed under a $20 million initiative dubbed the Burden of Obstructive Lung Disease BOLD project to determine this. The Ministry of Health, in collaboration with the Pulmonary Research Group from the University of the West Indies, UWI Department of Medicine, has made this their priority for an 8-month period beginning March 2014.
The study has actually been done in many other countries, and the data that has come out of this study has been useful to the different health planners in the countries.
Funding of the research is a joint effort of the National Health Fund and the UWI Principles Initiative Fund. It has been designed to garner statistics on the pervasiveness of COPD and examine the recurrent costs of doctors' visits, medication, and productive time lost and its impact on the economy. Data collected will form part of the worldwide data on COPD.
We think that this particular project will give us a lot of information to plan on how to look at the prevalence of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease and to put health plans in place in our health system, which will only improve the quality of health care that we are able to provide for our country.
Significant focus is being placed on ensuring that youth are aware of the dangers of smoking. It has been asserted that once persons start smoking, they become addicted, and at that point, even for adults, choice is no longer an option.
My patients as a pulmonologist tell me that cigarette smoking can be very gratifying because nicotine is a highly addictive substance. Once it gets to the brain and the dopamine is released, which causes the high, you feel at peace with the world. The problem with cigarette smoking is that while that feel-good comes, the effects or the damage come much later down the road.
COPD is not a contagious disease and it has no cure, at least not yet. Therefore, it's best to steer clear of cigarette smoke and other harmful lung irritants. However, if you have COPD, treatments and lifestyle changes can help you feel better, stay more active, and slow the progress of the disease.
As we close today's show, we ask that you stay connected via our website, gis.gov.jm, and while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at gis.gov.jm or via tweet at JIS News. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.